lately, it seems like everybody wants to hear this cycle's different. They fooled us. They played us. Altcoins will never recover. Bitcoin is the only asset to invest into, and that will never win. That's what the whales wanted you to think. And there's a couple articles I want to read with you, but I want to give you my opinion on why I think this cycle is different, but in the sense of what's been transpiring with the manipulation versus what's actually going to happen by the end of the cycle. So if you're still holding altcoins, and I know there's not many of you left, we're going to go over a few key points that I think will hit home, especially for those who've been around for as long as I have, which has been numerous years now. So first off, let's go over this article. So a new CFTC nominee joins Trump pledge to make U.S. crypto capital of the world. So first of all, ask yourself, if they're trying to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world, can they do that with just Bitcoin? No. Secondly, and I was having this conversation with one of my friends, we have ETFs out for what? Altcoins, Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, Tau, Solana. Okay, we have ETFs for numerous cryptos. We even got coins like Ondo, working on BlackRock. We got tons of cryptos, Chainlink, the main oracle, that's going to connect blockchains. And people think that because of what they've been seeing with the manipulation, that Bitcoin is the only one that will survive. Now, it is true that 99% of cryptos do die and will get phased out, especially cycle after cycle. But the ones that have ETFs, the ones that are getting eyes on them, they're going to be here multi-cycle like Bitcoin. And yes, Bitcoin is the safest. This is why we say Bitcoin and crypto, because Bitcoin is a commodity and most people literally see it as digital gold, the ones who invest into it. But that being said, would this be headlining right now, crypto capital of the world, if altcoins were forever doomed? No, right? Again, venture capitalists, Trump, his party, the whales, they want to make money. They know the way to make money is not just Bitcoin, because it's very hard to convince retail investors to buy a 100K plus asset. But will they want to convince them to buy a penny crypto, a dollar crypto, a $5 crypto? Yes, it's easier because the average retail investor will look at it like, oh, this coin's $3. It's cheaper than 100K Bitcoin. I can buy a lot of shares of it. I can make a lot of money from it. Okay. The whales will do everything they can to make sure retail is shaked out so they can buy the bottoms on these cryptos. But just because it looks like altcoins are dying does not mean that's going to be their future too. It just means right now it looks like it. But again, ask yourself as a venture capitalist yourself, pretend you're a VC or someone like the Trump. Would he be saying to himself or his party, hey, we're going to kill everything and we're just going to have Bitcoin survive? Would that make the country money? No. I mean, yes, Bitcoin will become the world reserve currency and it'll be the new gold in digital format and, finite. But if they're trying to, put legislation on crypto and pass ETFs, that means that these hedge fund and bank companies are going to put this in retirement portfolios of average day clients. Why would they do this if altcoins were going to die in instant death? It does not make sense. The reason why we have an ETF coming out for money altcoins is because they plan on keeping them for a long time to put them in retirement portfolios. If they were not, they would just say, have a Bitcoin ETF and that's it. But clearly that is not the case. I hope that solves a lot of the debate about altcoins not surviving with Bitcoin. But again, a lot of people will fall for the manipulation headlines on what's the whales are doing and what's happening in the charts with Bitcoin going up and go, oh, great, altcoins are never going to come back. But then you're seeing stuff like this. How do you become a crypto capital of the world if altcoins are dead? There's no way around it. There's no way around it. How does a narrative like RWA exist without altcoins? We can't tokenize assets on Bitcoin's ledger. They're not going to do it. Bitcoin's a blockchain. Sure, it could be a peer-to-peer cash, but they're not putting smart contracts on Bitcoin. It's on what? Layer ones. all these governance tokens, they're here to vote for altcoins. So again, people are going to debate this. They're going to say this is nonsense. But you have to follow with what the whales and VCs and politicians are doing. Not what they're saying, what they're doing. They're setting up for mass adoption of altcoins. Not every altcoin, not every meme coin, but the ones that have staying power, the ones that are going to actually have a purpose. This is not to say meme coins will die. This is not to say the other altcoins will die. This is me telling you in general, altcoins will thrive and they're going to do well. It's just a matter of time, a matter of when, not if. So let's see what this says. Donald Trump has officially tapped Mike to lead the CFTC. Longtime crypto ally and serves as general counsel of the SEC's crypto task force. Although a so-called structure bill has stalled in the Senate, they expected to play a critical role overseeing the U.S. crypto industry should lawmakers ultimately strike a deal to overhaul digital assets regulation. Okay, so again, if they're trying to regulate crypto, why would they be doing any of this? Why would they even have altcoin legislation, ETFs, if Bitcoin was the only one that was going to be around? And look at this. Days after pardon, CZ says crypto, not just Bitcoin, crypto will make a lot of money for the country. How? By crypto trading, by having ETFs. Again, to further my point, the banks are in the market this time. Why would they be in the market if the goal was just to accumulate Bitcoin and let the masses just drop on altcoins? They're here because they know crypto trading will be here. Not just Bitcoin trading, but crypto trading. You have to read between the lines. So let's see what else he said. Cryptocurrency will significantly contribute to the U.S. economy. See, a lot of people at this point, and I'm not really talking to you, the person who's still here. I'm talking to like your neighbor who left. A lot of people are waiting for the price action to come back before they decide that altcoins will be here and have staying power. They're waiting for Bitcoin to tank before they realize they shouldn't be buying the top in Bitcoin. But, again, it's just something you're going to have to trust within yourself. And you can see right here, Trump's family, World Liberty Financial Crypto Venture. He has his own crypto company. If that was the case, and let's just say Trump ruins crypto. Okay, think about from this point of view. He made his own crypto. If nobody likes Trump because he destroys the crypto market in their eyes, don't you think he knows this? Nobody would buy his crypto aside from his own pals if he had no respect from the outside world. Why would Trump come out with his own crypto and then kill altcoins and not gain the approval for everyone that voted for him to invest into his own coin? Right? We can see Trump's coin, and no one's talking about this, by the way. Trump's own coin is down significantly, not because of the coin itself, but because of the way Trump's been adding tariffs and the way crypto's been reacting. People are frustrated at Trump for it. And so they're selling his token because of it. So again, ask yourself from a business standpoint, if Trump came out with his own altcoin, and right now altcoins are down, do you not think he will revive the altcoin market in hopes that people will FOMO into his own project? It's on Coinbase. Why do you think he's trying to aggressively get Jerome Powell to pivot? Because he wants the Fed to end QT and inject money into the system, which is going to encourage consumer spending, which is going to push the price of risk on assets, which is what? Crypto, altcoins, and his altcoins. So again, from a business standpoint, doesn't it make sense for Trump to support altcoins if it means his own crypto venture will do better? He pardoned CZ for a reason. He knows he's a big KOL for crypto, marketing crypto. See, a lot of people don't read between the lines. This is why I'm not getting fooled by this. Right now, the ongoing sentiment for crypto is either the bear market's here and altcoin season is done for life, and that just buy Bitcoin. Now, I agree. There are more Bitcoin maxis being created because of what's been happening. That happens every cycle. Every single cycle, the longer you've been in crypto, you realize you should have a bigger allocation to Bitcoin versus altcoins. I too learned this lesson as well, and best believe next cycle I will have a much bigger allocation to Bitcoin. However, I've been descending into Bitcoin for a long time now. Every single check, a small percentage of it set forget, because I treat it like a bank account. But that being said, just because there will be a more larger allocation of Bitcoin maxis from cycle to cycle doesn't mean altcoins will not go up. And it doesn't mean that we're not going to see more gains from altcoins. So now let's get to the metrics, because a lot of people are going to want to see what's going on in the market. So we know Bitcoin has recovered, last I checked, to 111K. We'll pull it up in a minute. We also know we're in fear. You can see right here, Bitcoin 111K, Ethereum is around 4K, Bitcoin dominance is getting closer to 60% as I predicted. Market cap is below 4 trillion, the psych level. We're in fear, and obviously we're nowhere near altcoin season index. Let's get a closer look. So like I said in the previous video, let me just unpause for a minute. There has never been a time where we've been in fear for any period of time that was not a good buying opportunity. This is very important, so I'm going to say it again. There has never been a bad opportunity to buy in fear in the historical times of stocks and crypto. Every time we look back at a very fearful moment in crypto, whether it's a black swan event or a bear market, it's always created a ton of wealth for investors who bought the fear. This is going back from the FTX crash in 2022. This is going even further back from the COVID crash in 2020. Now we're in fear because of tariffs and because the super cycle being talked about and because altcoins are significantly underperforming Bitcoin, which has not happened in past cycles, at least to this duration, this length of time. But because of that happening, and because everyone has this warped viewpoint that everything has to play out exactly as past cycles, there is just more fear, more confusion, more anger, and more frustration, which just leads to further flat price action and a further decline in interest in crypto. But again, I gave you guys many reasons why crypto is not only here to stay, especially altcoins, but will thrive in due time. In due time. We're 4 days away from the Fed meeting taking place. You need to have patience. Patience will pay off. And again, like I said, Bitcoin dominance is getting close to 60%. It's going to happen. Bitcoin still needs to form a final all-time high. But when Ethereum comes back and we see phase 2 again, that is going to be the point of no return, to where we're not going back into phase 1, but in fact going towards phase 3 and phase 4, the famous altcoin season. And when that happens, the FOMO is going to be so significant that we're going to see just tremendous gains for crypto. And it's going to be a fantastic time to take profits. On that note, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Also join my Discord. Great place to be, especially during challenging times like these. On that note, have a nice day.